So, hey, good morning. So, there is a one correction which I needed to do in the last class. I wrongly named Sambhaji Maharaj when I was telling you the story. वो slip of tongue था. Actually, it was Savai Madhav Rao's time, 1791. When I was telling ना that Sringeri Sharada Peetham, लिखा नहीं है किसी ने. I was telling you the story. तो that was 1791 is the exact age. ठीक है? When Marathas have ransacked the Sringeri Sharda Peetham, and not exactly Maratha. Abhi padhte hue we will get to know it was actually Pindaris who have ransacked it. So we'll tell you about the Pindaris in the third battle of the our third Anglo-Maratha war. Right? So that was Savai Madhav Rao, who was the Peshwa at that time when it was ransacked, and he apologized to the temple. He also sent the money which was looted. So now I think last class we discussed about Balaji Vishwanath and Saranjami system. So his death in 1720, and after that the next Peshwa is Bajirao first. I'm not well today, so we'll speak slow. ठीक है? Will that be fine? Cough is there. So now, so Bajirao first, his timeline is very straightforward, 1720 to 1740. And Bajirao first was considered as the greatest exponent of guerrilla warfare after Shivaji. So Shivaji was the most famous exponent of the guerrilla warfare. But can you tell me that what is guerrilla warfare? Fighting with the? It is better to say fighting with a difficult terrain, in a difficult terrain, or the people who have mastery of the difficult terrain. And what is difficult terrain? Particularly hilly areas. Then, and hilly areas के अलावा forested areas are also hilly, the difficult terrains. So they have all the attributes or all the capacities to hide and seek, and then so as the fight with the hidden locations. So that is guerrilla warfare. Then, so he was the second greatest exponent of the guerrilla warfare. Then, when he has come to power, so he has one such endeavor that he wanted to expand the kingdom beyond the borders of Narmada river in the north direction. And he also made a very ambitious statement after some point of time, that is basically, so listen, that let us strike on the withering tree. Let us strike on the withering tree, and the branches will fall of themselves. Let us establish Hindu Padpad Sahi. So what does it mean? Whom he was referring as a withering tree? Let us strike on a withering tree. Mughal, okay? Later Mughals. So they are withering tree, as you have already seen that many such sub-kingdoms got created from the Mughal Empire, like Awadh, Hyderabad, and so as the Bengal. So this is a withering tree, and then he says branches will fall off by themselves. What does it mean? Who are the branches? Bengal, Awadh, and Hyderabad. So they will fall off by themselves. And then he said that let us establish Hindu Padpad Sahi everywhere. So meaning that Hindu kingdom everywhere where these all kingdoms are there. So this was his initial statement. Then now after these all, it is said about him that he was the highly successful Peshwa who never faced any defeat, and in his entire military career of 20 years, he never faced any defeat, and 20 years he was continuously fighting. So he never sit back. Now there is one very popular episode from his life, that Bundelkhand was ruled by Raja Chhatrasal at that point of time. And at that point of time, there was one general whose name was Bangash Khan from the Mughal area. He attacked on Bundelkhand. Then, so when the Muhammad Bangash attack happened on Bundelkhand, he sent a request to Bajirao first to help him. But Bajirao himself was fighting a war. He was in the midst of the war. He refused in the beginning. And he said that since I myself is in the war, I cannot do any help to you. But then once again Raja Chhatrasal sent the proposal, and this time proposal was taken by the daughter of Raja Chhatrisal, Mastani. Then, and as far as the Mastani is concerned, she was actually the daughter of the Rajput ruler Chhatrisal from his Muslim wife. Then, and Mastani was practitioner of both the religions, Hinduism and Islam both. So she used to worship Lord Krishna on one hand, on the other hand, she used to do the practice of the Islam also. So now, when Mastani went with this proposal, she was considered to be divinely beautiful, and Bajirao could not resist this beautiful proposal. So then he was ready for helping Raja Chhatrisal. He came to Bundelkhand and he defeated Muhammad Bangash. But as per the tradition of the Bundelkhand, that if a Qatar is gifted to anybody, which means that the king is offering the daughter's hand to the person. So he gifted a Qatar, and Bajirao accepted it. And he knew that what was the meaning of it, which means that he must get married with the Mastani. So he got married to Mastani, but it is to be noted over here, when it comes to the Peshwa's family, then Balaji Vishwanath's family, so they were Chitpavan Bhat Brahmins of Maharashtra, and by tradition they were monogamous, meaning that in their lifetime they can take only one wife, then they cannot go ahead with the polygamy. So by this tradition they were monogamous, and he was already married to a lady, Kashibai. Kashibai was daughter of the most that daughter of the richest merchant of that particular area, and she was daughter of one of the banker. Then, so obviously her position was also very strong. So when this marriage has happened with the Mastani, family of Bajirao did not accept it. His mother was against it, and so as his brother Chimaji Appa. They all were against this particular marriage. So there was no other option before Bajirao. He created a different palace at Sanivar Wada in Pune, where Mastani was living. So this particular bond was considered to be, or it was actually very deep bond between the Mastani and Bajirao. Now, I told you that statement of the Bajirao, that he said that let us strike on the withering tree and the branches will fall off by themselves, and let us establish Hindu Padpat Sahi. But then there came a point in his life. What was the point? So Mastani and Kasibai both were pregnant, and after some point of time, within a difference of few days, they both delivered a baby. So as per the Hindu rituals, then there is a one ritual which is called as Namakarana Samskar. I hope you know. So Namakarana Samskar, name giving ceremony. So the name was given to both the children. So Mastani has chosen a name that she will be giving name to her child Krishna. Okay? Krishna, since he was devotee of the Lord Krishna, so Krishna. But then the priests who were doing the nomenclature, they refused to give the name to the Mastani's daughter. And this is the time when Bajirao was highly angry and he was frustrated, and moreover he decided that he will give a Muslim name to his child. So he named his child as Samsher Bahadur. And moreover, it is in the 1740 when he was severely ill, mysterious disease, and not mysterious, but actually there was no remedy at that point of time, tuberculosis and these all things. Then, so he was suffering from it, and then his death happened. So, and it is said that such was the strong bond between the two. When this news was broken to Mastani, he also died at the same time. But then Kashibai raised the son of Mastani, Samsher Bahadur, as her own, and she also ensured that in the later times he must be getting the proper parts of the Maratha Empire. And he got the area of the Kalpi. Kalpi is closer to the Bundelkhand, basically the Jhansi and Gwalior ke beech mein. Okay? So he got the area of the Kalpi, and moreover when the 1761 third battle of Panipat is going to happen, so he will be fighting side by side his half brothers, and then after he also died in that particular battle. And so this is what is about the Bajirao first story. There is one more thing which we can write, basically for writing purpose. Obviously story we are not going to write. So he was the one who defeated Nizam of Hyderabad, and as per the Treaty of Bhopal he got the entire area of the Malwa. And moreover it was Bajirao who picked up Scindias and Holkars to play very vital roles in the Maratha politics. And in fact The 1875 to 1819, sorry, 1775 to 1819 story of Maratha is more about Peshwa, Holkar and Sindhyas. So we'll see that in the next episode. Mention, you write. So you write the title Peshwa Bajirao II. नहीं second नहीं first 1720 to 40 very straightforward timeline. Mention he was the greatest exponent of guerrilla warfare after Shivaji. Then mention after Shivaji, full stop. He was often referred as fighting Peshwa. He was often referred as fighting Peshwa. Then mention in his entire military career of 20 years, he never faced any defeat. Full stop. After some point of time, he gave a statement. Mention quote unquote में लिखो, let us strike on the withering tree. And in brackets you can write withering tree is later Mughals. Withering tree and the branches will fall off by themselves. Done. Fall off by themselves. So branches में लिख सकते हो in brackets Hyderabad, Awadh, Bengal. Then mention let us establish Hindu Padpad Sahi. In brackets you can mention Hindu kingdom everywhere. Then Hindu Padpad Sahi. Then mention he defeated Nizam of Hyderabad and as per the Treaty of Bhopal, Malwa became part of Maratha Empire. Mention he also assisted He also assisted. He also assisted Bundelkhand ruler Chhatrasal. Bundelkhand ruler Chhatrasal against the attack of Muhammad Bangash. Against the attack of Muhammad Bangash. Full stop. One might be asking who was Muhammad Bangash. Basically, he was one of the later Mughal general at the time of the that Muhammad Shah Rangila. Then further you write after it Muhammad Bangash. As a token of gratitude, Raja Chhatrasal offered hand of his daughter Mastani. Raja Chhatrasal offered hand of his daughter Mastani to Bajirao. Full stop, then mention. Bajirao's family was monogamous by tradition. Bajirao's family was monogamous by tradition. Done. As such, Mastani was not very much accepted in the family. Then change paragraph and then you mention. It was Bajirao who picked up Scindias and Holkars. To play vital role in Maratha politics. Full stop. Later, Scindias and Holkars were responsible for shaping the direction of Maratha politics. So now this was Bajirao first. Okay. After his death, his son, who was from Kashibai, so first wife, and his name was Nana Sahib. So Nana Sahib became the next Peshwa, and Nana Sahib came to power with the new title, and the title was Balaji Bajirao. Sometimes I know it becomes confusing that who is Balaji Vishwanath, who is Balaji Bajirao, Bajirao first, Bajirao second. So it's a tight, yep. हो तो हो गया, मैं कहानी कह रहा हूँ. Yes. हाँ बिल्कुल. So he was son of. That's what I was saying. ठीक है. मैं ये बता रहा हूँ, तुम लोग की व्यथा बता रहा हूँ, या मेरी भी थी एक टाइम पे, that I used to get confused that so many similar names are there. Then in fact, चलो in मतलब our course there are few names with the Bajirao or many such kings with the same title. What about the people of France? That who is Louis I and Louis XVI? That's most confusing. Okay. So anyways, so Balaji Bajirao came to power and his original name was Nana Sahib, and then he's regarded as the most powerful Peshwa. Why he's regarded as most powerful Peshwa? Because one of the power which was given to him and which made him the official ruler of the Maratha area. So now understand, in 1745, 1749 exactly. So in 1749, death of the Chhatrapati Sahu happened, and then after, all the powers of the king of the Maratha area, that is Chhatrapati, was transferred to transferred to Peshwa. So he became de facto ruler from this point of time, and this power transfer happened as per the Treaty of Sangola. Then, so this is how agreement of Sangola. Then let's look at the military history of the Nana Sahib. So Nana Sahib was powerful also, and at the same point of time he wanted to expand kingdom as much extent possible. So in between 1745 to 51, he is the one who attacked in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Okay? I hope you remember in Bengal episode we have given a reference to it. So he invaded Bengal, Bihar and Odisha many a times, and moreover his men looted many of the kothis of the Jagat Seths. Then, so in 1751, the ruler of the Bengal, who was ruler Alivardi Khan, so he agreed for giving 1.25 lakh rupees on annual basis to Maratha, and so has also handed over Odisha to the Marathas. So this is how he was able to solve this problem. But then Nana Sahib's, or basically the Peshwa Balaji Bajirao, his most important challenge was Ahmad Shah Abdali, which has led to the Battle of Panipat. And which battle? Third Battle of Panipat. So we'll see it, but first you write, mention. So first you write the title. Title is Balaji Peshwa Balaji Bajirao. (1720 to 61). So mention. Sorry, 40 to 61. It is 40 to 61. And mention in this one, Nana Sahib became the next Peshwa. Nana Sahib became the next Peshwa with the title Balaji Bajirao. With the title Balaji Bajirao. Mention. He was regarded as the most powerful Peshwa. He was regarded as the most powerful Peshwa. Peshwa, and then you write most powerful Peshwa. Maratha territory reached its climax during his tenure. Maratha territory reached its climax during his tenure. And then mention. It is said that his territory extended from Cuttack to Attak. So this is how it is pronounced. लिखने के लिए ऐसे लिखना ATTOCK. So Cuttack is Odisha, and where is Attak? Afghanistan border. So Pakistan-Afghanistan border pe, in Afghanistan there is this place called Attak. So then mention. Have you heard the thing Kabuli chana? So Attak to Kabul is the region of that particular Kabuli chana. Okay, that's what it was named as, the Kabuli chana. So that goes into the original, and I think in the very first or second class we must have discussed about the native plantation. So that Kabuli word itself is indicative of the chana was the native of that particular area. So anyways, so this is first part. Then mention आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ, पैराग्राफ चेंज करके लिखना, आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ छत्रपति, after the death of Chhatrapati, as per Sangola agreement, as per Sangola agreement, all the powers of Chhatrapati, all the powers of Chhatrapati was transferred to Peshwa. Was transferred to Peshwa, and he became de facto ruler, and he became de facto ruler of Maratha Empire. De facto ruler of Maratha Empire. Done? Then एक बार फिर से paragraph change, and then you mention in between 1745 to 51, in between 1745 to 51, Marathas raided Bengal and Odisha many a times. Bengal and Odisha many a times. Many a times. Full stop. As a result, Bengal ruler Alivardi Khan, signed an agreement. Alivardi Khan signed an agreement with Marathas, whereby he gave Odisha to Marathas, and also promised 1.25 lakh rupees, 1.25 lakh rupees annual payment to Marathas. 1.25 lakh rupees annual payment to Marathas. So now listen that now we are moving towards the Battle of Panipat. But first understand what is the reason that why it all happened. So Peshwa wanted to further go in the direction of northwards, and remember that when we were doing the topic of the later Mughals, so we mentioned that Ahmad Shah Abdali was the invader, and one of the Mughal ruler was Ahmad Shah. Remember, 1748 to 54. So during his tenure, Abdali has occupied Punjab. Then now Marathas what have done that after 1754 they expelled the agents of Abdali from the Punjab and they occupied Lahore. So this is what became major bone of contention between Marathas and Abdalis, and this is what is leading to the third battle of Panipat, or the final battle of the Panipat in 1761. So there are questions related to this particular episode that Marathas they were defeated in this war, but actually the question which was asked in the mains examination, एक बार ध्यान से समझना. So we'll address, but this question इसका dictation I'll not do, but I'll discuss the answer. So question was that why many ground shaking battles were fought at Panipat, why it was often a preferred location of the fight. Then so this question we need to address. Another thing that Marathas, who were extremely powerful by this point of time, Nobody ever thought that Marathas would be defeated, but Marathas were thoroughly defeated in the third battle of Panipat. Then, so what are the reasons of the Marathas defeat also that we need to discuss? Then, so let's discuss the very first part, that why many ground shaking battles were fought at Panipat. So if we go into the history, the first battle of Panipat was 1526 between whom and whom? Babur and Ibrahim Lodhi. And second battle of Panipat was Akbar's general, and who was he? Bairam Khan. So Bairam Khan and Hemchandra in 1556, which is after the capture of the Delhi by Hemchandra. Then the third battle is this one. But apart from it, see, Panipat is one such name, but then many in and around areas of the Panipat were also the fight location. So for example, Battle of Karnal, remember 1739. Then Battle of Samalkha. So there are many such battles which has happened closer to the in and around area of the Panipat. Then, so why it was a preferred location? So let's have a look at it. Okay. So for this, I'll have to create a map, and just give me 1 minute. So बिना मैप के समझना, just give me, this much would be fine. So if we look at the hill ranges which are closer to this part, so सबसे ऊपर की तरफ this is Trans Himalaya. Then we have the three ranges of Himalaya. Trans Himalaya, three ranges of Himalaya. Then ऊपर की तरफ this is Pamir Knot. So Trans Himalaya, and this I'm writing as Himalaya. Then Pamir Knot. Then what about the Pakistan side? What is the name of the hill range? Hindu Kush. Then so we can write over here Hindu Kush. So this is the hill range Hindu Kush. Then after Hindu Kush, another hill range Kirtahar or Suleiman. Okay. So Kirtahar and Suleiman, these are the hill ranges. Now, when we are looking at the different names, so Pamir, Knot, Trans Himalaya, Himalaya, Hindu Kush, Suleiman, Kirtahar. So then, why these different names? Because these all hill ranges, their formation age is different. When the formation age would be different, so then it means that there would be discontinuity between them, and discontinuity results into the creation of the passes. Then, so natural passes, and many of the natural passes you must have studied in geography. So Jojila, Bomdila, then Khojak, Gomal, then so these are the natural passes through which anybody can enter to this particular part. So now understand that Delhi historically it was a very important place, and in fact right from the age of the mythology it was the capital. So if we look at the hill ranges extension, so extension, if you ever been, many of you must have been to Jammu. So if we talk about the hill ranges from where it is starting, so it is Pathankot, जहाँ से hill range start हो जाता है. I hope you must have seen. Anybody who has gone to Vaishno Devi, उन्होंने तो जरूर देखा होगा, ठीक है? So hills start from the Pathankot, and Pathankot is the part of Punjab. So we can say that hill यहाँ से start हो रहा है, ठीक है? And this entire area from Pathankot going till even Islamabad, it is already a very hilly range. Right? So basically any invader who was coming from the top, he is almost hidden till Pathankot. Okay? So almost hidden till Pathankot. Only when the Pathankot area, when the plain area is there, then the invaders are visible. अब if we have to calculate the distance between दिल्ली and पठानकोट, आराम से अभी गूगल में डाल के देख सकते हो, 400 किलोमीटर के आसपास होगा. मतलब आई एम जस्ट गेसिंग, ठीक है, 400 समथिंग, ठीक है, 400 समथिंग. सो 400 किलोमीटर्स, सपोज 400 किलोमीटर्स, ठीक है, बिटवीन दैट पठानकोट एंड दिल्ली. सो 400 किलोमीटर, हाउ मेनी डेज इट विल टेक फॉर दैट आर्मी टू अराइव इन दिल्ली? कितना, एक दिन में 50 किलोमीटर तो चल सकते हैं ना, 50 किलोमीटर आराम से. सो 8 दिन, 8 days or 9 days they will be there. So now understand, when you have seen the enemy for the first time, you have just hardly 7-8 days to do the preparation. So in these 7-8 days, understand that do you consider that, do you believe that it is better to fight the battle in the capital or outside the capital? Outside the capital. Nobody would like to fight a battle in the capital. Even if his one is victorious, so दूसरा आदमी ऐसा तो है नहीं कि जो defeated होगा, that will not do any harm. In battle, both the sides suffer the injuries. Then, and if it is happening in the capital, so that would be most disastrous. So no ruler will ever want that any battle must happen in the capital. So they will have to choose an off location from the capital. Then, and the off location must be plain ground. Why so? Plain ground पे क्या होता है, that strengths are visible. ठीक है, that both the sides की किसके कितने strength है, how many soldiers, ठीक है, what everything is there, so it is visible. But then when you choose a hilly terrain, so then in the disguised form, the strength of the enemy's army will not be visible to you. So plain ground was to be chosen, and the best plain ground is Panipat. Then, now why Panipat was chosen? There is one more reason, that since very less number of the days are left, कि 7 से 8 दिन या 9 से 10 दिन, only this much days are there. So the battlefield must not be very far from capital also. The reason is, when the battlefield will be far from the capital, how the mobilization of the weapons will happen. And so for quick mobilization of the weapons, Panipat, if you calculate the distance, 105 kilometers from Delhi, and so easily the weapon mobilization can happen. And another factor that why Panipat was chosen, there was a good connecting highway at this place, though not during the first Panipat battle, but during the second and third. And this highway was created by Sirsa Suri, Grand Trunk Road. उसके पहले भी there used to be the good connectivity between the two places. Then, so connectivity अच्छा है, food supplies can happen to the battleground, and so as the weapon supply can happen to the battleground. So that was the reason that was counted in the battle. And moreover, there are some unique things that we need to see in this part. So first of all, in all the three Panipat battles, पहला, दूसरा, तीसरा, Babur, from where he came? Afghanistan, Kabul. And second battle, Bairam Khan, from where he came? Kabul. Okay? And third battle, Abdali, from where he came? Kabul. Okay? So all the three victorious persons, they all came from Kabul. Then that is one kind of unique fact. And another thing, now understand, there was one more belief in India, or not just in India, but among the invaders also, and among the majority of the people, is basically the legitimacy. Now understand, if a person is victorious in India, so he can establish his power with his might, but then at the end of the day, he has to win the trust of the people. Okay? So Panipat, including the area of the Karnal, Kurukshetra and Samalkha, this comes under, historically this area is called as Dharma Kshetra. Then, so this area is called as Dharma Kshetra, and it was common belief among the people right from the age of the Mahabharata that if anybody wins a battle in the Dharma Kshetra, so he has right to rule India. So this was also there in the mind of many of the invaders, that if they win the battle in the Panipat, so then people will be accepting the rule. And Mughal rule is no anomaly to it, that it continued from 1526 to 1707, and there was obviously a legitimacy given by the people to the Mughal rule. Then, so that's how it was also one of the factors which is to be counted. And then another, there are many other. So these are the main reasons. But then, जब कहीं देखोगे that those people who have mentioned the answers, many people have tried. So there are other reasons also mentioned. If you're sort of the points, you can always add these which I'm mentioning further. So one very important, I would say, that this entire area is the breadbasket of India, meaning known for the high agricultural productivity. So इस वजह से दोनों armies को there would be a regular food supply, and so is the water supply also, because this is the area of the Punjab, then, and so is the Yamuna river. So 5 rivers, and additionally Yamuna river. So then there is a good supply of the water also. And since it was agriculturally rich area, so artisan industry was also very good. So as the weapon making was quite localized in the area. So for example, that suppose anybody sort of the weapon, so they can easily resource it from the nearby villages, because weapon making was very much practiced in most of the villages in and around this area. So that was also one of the reason, or we can say secondary reason, not the primary reason. And so this is what is about the battle. Then that what is about the that why many of the battles were fought at the Panipat. But then the second question I will that why Marathas were defeated over here, we'll discuss. ठीक है, पहले थोड़ा सा लिख लो. So just give me 1 minute, I'll see. ठीक है, so annual payment तक लिखा है. Then paragraph change करके लिखो, mention. You're right. After 1755, after 1755 लिखना, 1755, Bajirao forces ran through Punjab and expelled agents of Abdali from Punjab, and occupied Lahore. Then mention. It became major bone of contention. Between Abdali and Maratha. Bone of contention between Abdali and Maratha, which led to Third Battle of Panipat. In 1761, which led to Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. Done? So now let's discuss the second question. Okay? This will be writing. So first wala, I would rather request to you that घर पे जाके उसको question देख के please write in your own words. Then, so let's come to the second one. Marathas were considered as the very powerful people. They were the most powerful people in India by this time. But despite they having this immense power, they were defeated by Abdali. What are the reasons that why Abdali was successful against the Marathas? So let's understand some of the inherent weaknesses which were there in the Maratha administration. So first of all, that though the Marathas were very powerful, but hardly there was any intent to create an all India empire. They had all the paraphernalia to create an all India empire, but intention was not there. So they didn't had intention to create it. Now, why we are saying that they didn't had intention to create all India empire? The reason is that their policy rarely went beyond the collection of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. So militarily they were very powerful, they were successful also. Whichever direction they were attacking, that area they were defeating, and then that area became subordinate to the Marathas. But now in these all areas, what they were doing, they were only collecting Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. So let's understand that when they only in few areas, that is Gujarat, Malwa and Khandes, they tried to put a semblance of administration, meaning that after annexing this area, they have put some administration in these area. But when they are victorious in Odisha and also in Punjab, they did not put any administration in these two areas. So they did not put any administration in these two areas. Now, you can ask question that why they are not keeping any administration in this area. Understand that suppose if they are victorious in Punjab, so if they are going ahead with some sort of administration of this area, so it means that they will have to spend also welfare administration there, they will have to spend also. So they did not wanted any additional expenditure but only income. Then so when you are only supposed to take income from these two areas, so these two areas will be open to the future attack, and very soon the attack of the Abdali made them realize that this was a mistake. So that is one biggest weakness of the Maratha. They must have put some sort of administration. So now let's come to the battle details. So in the battle, so Maratha forces, what was the strength of the Marathas? We are discussing it from very long time. Guerrilla warfare. Then, and where the battle is happening? Plain ground. Okay, Panipat. So Panipat is not the area of the Marathas. Then they are not very much acquainted with this area, and moreover, it is not a that this guerrilla warfare ground, but it is a plain ground. So here they were not in such a good position when it came to the fight on the plain ground. But then there were some intelligent strategies of the Abdali because of which they were defeated. So Maratha forces were led by cousin of Nana Sahib or Balaji Bajirao. His name was Sadasiv Rao Bhau. And then so as the Peshwa's son and then also Samsher Bahadur, they were all fighting on the from the Maratha side. On the other hand, Abdali got the support of the Rohillas. Okay? So who were the Rohillas? The rulers of the Rohilkhand. And their origin, I think I have mentioned in the later Mughal episode, they have lineage from the Afghanistan. So they supported Abdali. And Abdali also got the support of Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla. And so it means that Abdali also has the equal numbers like the Marathas because he got this support from these two areas in India. There is one more question which is often considered as a controversial. So we don't write that part, but I'll discuss. So you must have heard about Jat ruler Surajmal. कुछ लोगों ने सुना होगा, ठीक है. So it is, there is always a mystery around that Surajmal, that it is said that in the beginning he gave assurance to the Marathas that he will be fighting with them, but later on he supported Abdali. But then as far as the evidences are concerned, it is said that though initially he was having consultation with the Marathas, but he did not supported Abdali. Evidences suggest that he did not supported Abdali. In fact, he did not fought. That's what he did. That he did not fought from anybody's side. So, but then whenever any such political things are there, so people rake up this issue that he supported Abdali, but no evidence suggests that he supported Abdali. So anyways, battle happened. And in battle, what were the intelligence strategies of the Abdali? First of all, that Abdali he has spent huge money in this battle, and he brought swivel guns to fight with the Marathas. Then, so on the other hand, Marathas were fighting with the traditional weapon, but Abdali was fighting with the swivel guns, which were operated from the camels. Then people were riding the camels, and then they operated from the camels. Then another strategy which was very effective. Abdali knew that all the supplies of the Maratha army is coming from Delhi. Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II, who was the biggest supporter of the Marathas. So now all the supply is coming from Delhi, weapon supply and so as the food supply. So what he did, that his first endeavor was to destroy the road which is connecting Delhi to Panipat, and he completely, rather than attacking on the Maratha army, he destroyed the road first. So when he destroyed the road, it is said that there was near starvation situation, near hunger situation in the Maratha camp. And actually, it is said that Marathas were not defeated because of the military technology, but Marathas were defeated because of the scarcity of the food. Then, so there was complete non-supply of the food material in the camp, and that's how one by one Abdali started to defeat them in at many junctures. So finally the war was over. But then in the history of the modern India, this is the war which had maximum number of the casualties. Then The second incident would be obviously the partition of India, where the biggest casualties were there. But before that, it was the Panipat battle where heavy casualties were there. Near about 50,000 people died then, and majority of them were the Marathas. And it is said that such was the situation that there was nobody left in the Maratha camps to perform the last rite rituals also. Then, so bodies were left in the battlefield itself. It was a very horrendous situation in this Panipat battle. But now the question rises that in this Panipat battle, Marathas were defeated. So obviously it is not beneficial. Anyways, it is not beneficial to them. So what was there for Abdali? So very unique thing emerged from the Panipat battle. It is said that Panipat battle did not decide that who would rule India, but it decided who would not. And who would not में कौन कौन होगा? Marathas obviously. Now they are no more contenders of the All India Empire. What about Abdali, who is victorious? Will he be benefited from the Panipat battle, or was he got any benefit from the Panipat battle? No. You know why? Because the moment Abdali was victorious, so see, defeating Marathas in Panipat, will it lead to the annexation of the Maratha area in Maharashtra? No, obviously not. Then it's just a one victory over there in the north area, and this fight was for which area? Punjab, not for the Maratha area. So एक तो पहले दिमाग में ही रखना. And दूसरी चीज, then Abdali was victorious, but soon what happened? There was Iranian attack on Afghanistan, his area. And Abdali has to run back to Afghanistan despite being victorious. यहाँ पे celebrate करने का भी मौका नहीं मिला. Then, so he has run back to his own area, and that's how he did not got any benefit. So when any of them did not got any benefit, so for whom the scope is created? British East India Company. So this particular battle created the scope for the British East India Company, and from here onwards, they will be expanding their roots in India. Then, so mention now you write. So we have only written, so just give me 1 minute. पानीपत. सो एक बार फिर से एक सेपरेट टाइटल लिख लो, थर्ड बैटल ऑफ पानीपत 1761. Then mention Marathas were militarily most powerful. Marathas were militarily most powerful people in India. Marathas were militarily most powerful people in India. They had the capacity to create an all India empire. They had the capacity to create an all India empire. But, comma के बाद लिखो, but hardly there was any intent. But hardly there was any intent. Then mention their rule hardly went beyond. Their rule hardly went beyond collection of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. Hardly went beyond collection of Chauth and Sardes Mukhi. Full stop. Then you write, it was only in the areas of Gujarat, Malwa and Khandesh It was only in the area of Gujarat, Malwa and Khandesh where they kept some administration, where they kept some सिस्टम ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन लिखना, सम सिस्टम ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, system of administration, but not in the areas of, but not in the areas of Punjab and Odisha, but not in the areas of Punjab and Odisha, full stop. As such, areas without administration, as such areas without administration were prone to attack by the others, were prone to attack by the others. Done. So this is one small introduction of it. Then change paragraph and then you write. In 1761, attack of Abdali dealt DEALT, dealt severe blow, writing mention, dealt a severe blow to Maratha pride, severe blow to Maratha pride. Mention, Maratha forces were led by Sadasiv Rao Bhau. Done. And his important military leaders included Vishwas Rao and Samsher Bahadur. Then mention, on the other hand, Abdali got the support of Rohillas and Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla, and the Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla. Then full stop. Abdali brought swivel, you can see the spelling. Abdali brought swivel guns in this battle. Swivel guns in the battle, which were operated from camels. Gun, as you asked, gunpowder and cannons, they were in the use from very long time, 1526 itself. Obviously it will be used, वही तो बता रहा हूँ. 15 वेट करोगे बोलने का मेरे, या पूछते ही रहोगे. Have this much patience which I am saying, ठीक है? So cannons were in the vogue, they have been used in the Indian scenario from 1526 itself. Every ruler is using, everybody is using, ठीक है? Now since, अब ध्यान से समझो, ठीक है? 1717, then अब ये सवाल तुम लोग पूछ रहे हो, इसके बेसिस पे I am telling you, ठीक है? What I mentioned about the Jagat Seths, what they were selling, saltpeter, gunpowder, ठीक है? तो यूज में था तभी तो सेल कर रहे थे, तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है यार, यहाँ पे सब यूज करेंगे, है ना? ठीक है, तो इट इज यूज्ड बाय बोथ द साइड्स. both the sides. 1757 also we mentioned that both the sides were using then. So both the sides meaning that it is used by the, what is 1757? Battle of Plassey, and who were the parties? बताओ. British and, हाँ, बाद में पूछना. See, it is leading to the wastage of the time, ठीक है. एंड एक बात ध्यान में रखो क्लास में, ठीक है. दिस इज आई एम मतलब स्ट्रिक्टली मेंशनिंग दैट व्हेन आई एम डिक्टेटिंग समथिंग, बीच में हाथ उठा के कुछ मत पूछा करो. इट एक्चुअली ब्रेक्स माई फ्लो. इट्स नॉट अबाउट दैट यू कैन आस्क, यू कैन ऑलवेज आस्क द क्वेश्चन, बट एक स्टेज होता है वहां पे पूछो. जब तुम बीच में हाथ, मैं किसी पन्ने से नहीं पढ़ रहा हूँ, डिक्टेशन सोच सोच के करवा रहा हूँ, तो इंटरप्ट होता है, बीच में हाथ मत उठाओ. एंड इफ द क्वेश्चन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एक काम करो, पेज पे पीछे लिख लो, ठीक है, कि तुम भूल मत जाओ, इसलिए पेज पे पीछे लिख लो. एंड देन व्हेन द डिक्टेशन इज ओवर आस्क इट, ठीक है. बट डिक्टेशन के बीच में रिक्वेस्ट है कि उसके बीच में हाथ मत उठाओ. इट एक्चुअली इंटरप्ट्स द एंटायर फ्लो. एंड फिर सो चलो, सो आई हैव फॉरगॉटन व्हाट आई सेड. यू रीड इट, पहले पढ़ो. हाँ, ऑपरेटेड फ्रॉम कैमल्स, उसके पहले क्या लिखा था? जस्ट मेंशन. हाँ, अब्दाली ऑल्सो नहीं, उसके पहले की लाइन पढ़ो बच्चा. ठीक है, आई गॉट इट व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग. जस्ट वेट फॉर 1 मिनट, आई लेट मी गेट बैक टू व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग. बात मत करो प्लीज, वेट फॉर 1 मिनट, ठीक है. देन योर Abdali also followed intelligent strategy. Abdali also followed an intelligent strategy whereby he destroyed the road which connected Panipat to Delhi, which connected Panipat to Delhi. Panipat to Delhi. Full stop. Because of it, not only the military supply, but also the food supply was hit. Not only the military supply, but also food supply was hit. Full stop. Food supply was hit. It is said that there was near starvation situation. It is said that there was near starvation situation in Maratha camp. Near starvation situation in Maratha camp. Full stop. Maratha forces were thoroughly defeated. Which also led to death of Sadasiv Rao Bhau, then mention Vishwas Rao, and Vishwas Rao was actually son of Peshwa, and Samsher Bahadur. Mention total 50,000 casualties. Total 50,000 casualties. Happened in this war. out of which most of them were from Maratha side, out of which most of them were from Maratha side, full stop. Then full stop के बाद लिखो, when the news of defeat was given to Peshwa, when the news of defeat was given to Peshwa, he also died. He also died because of the shock. He also died because of the shock. So now 1761 is, still we need to write the last point. So already it is clear that Marathas are defeated. So let's write about that line which I was mentioning, that it did not benefited anybody. Then so लिखो, paragraph change करके लिखो, mention. It is said that Panipat battle did not decided that who would rule India. Did not decided that who would rule India. Rather it decided who would not. Rather it decided who would not. Then who would not. Which means, full stop के बाद लिखना, which means nor Maratha nor Abdali, will rule India. Full stop. This way it paved the rise of British East India Company. It paved the way for the rise of British East India Company, who consolidated their roots in India. In the upcoming decades. Then in the upcoming decades. So this is what is about the very big topic of the Panipat battle. Then in fact the initial two Panipat battle, अब चूंकि वो modern में है नहीं तो we are not discussing it, but whenever the ancient medieval topic will happen, so then we'll discuss the first Panipat battle also. And in the first Panipat battle, how Babur, being 1/10 of the army of the Ibrahim Lodi, was victorious. That's also an interesting thing to know. So now after it 1761, Marathas have lost their ground in the North India. Now no more they can control North India. And 1761 onwards, so it is the phase for the Marathas to rebuild their fortunes, because they have lost hell lot of things in the third battle of Panipat. But then Marathas were industrious people and they knew how to regain their fortunes, particularly in the Deccan area. So they started working towards it, and there was a need of the capable leadership in the Maratha area. So in between 1761 to 72, there were three important figures in the Maratha politics. Number one was the Peshwa himself, and Peshwa at this point of time was Madhav Rao. And there were two very important administrators of this time. Their names were Nana Furnace and another whose name we have mentioned n number of the time, Mahaji Sindhia. And so Mahaji Sindhia. So Marathas were able to rebuild their fortunes in between 1761 to 72 under the able guidance of the Peshwa Madhav Rao, Nana Furnace and Mahaji Sindhia. But then One more thing has started in the Maratha politics at this point of time is basically the importance of a position which is called as Bara Bhai. Bara Bhai. And what is Bara Bhai? So Bara Hindi में क्या meaning है? 12. So 12 administrator system also started. So 12 administrators now became very important in the Maratha politics, and moreover, just like that a government is there and the government many cabinet ministers are there, so you can consider that they are like the ministers then. So each and every decision were taken in consultation with the 12 administrators, and Nana Fadnis and Mahatma Sindhya were the part of this 12 administrators then. So they were most important in all of it, all the 12 administrators, but they were part of it. So now understand. So next 10 years was the rebuilding phase. After the death of the Madhav Rao, the next Peshwa was Narayan Rao. Abhi kuch likhna nahi, just let me complete this part. So next Peshwa was Narayan Rao. He was there for just 1 year, and then after what happened, in this 1 year itself, there was another Maratha person whose name was Raghunath Rao. He wanted to hold the power, and Raghunath Rao assassinated Narayan Rao to become the next Peshwa. So this incident happened in 73, that Raghunath Rao, just give me 1 minute. So Raghunath Rao assassinated Narayan Rao and he became the next Peshwa. This is for the first time in the Maratha history. A Maratha blood has been killed by a Maratha. And so before that, there was no such incident like this. So he became the Peshwa, but then the 12 administrators, after many consultations, and then they finally arrived at the conclusion that this kind of personality does not deserve the position of the Peshwa. They removed him from the position of the Peshwa. And after they are removing him, so who was appointed as the next Peshwa? So Narayan Rao's minor son, meaning he would be hardly 4 or 5 years old then. So Narayan Rao's minor son, whose name was Savai Madhav Rao. Savai Madhav Rao became the next Peshwa, but since he is a child, so he was kept under the regency of Nana Fadnis. Then, so meaning that all the decisions are taken by the Nana Fadnis on behalf of the new Peshwa Savai Madhav Rao. So mention little bit, you write. So do one thing, just write a title, Peshwa Madhav Rao. This one you write, Peshwa Madhav Rao, and his timeline you mentioned 1761 to 72. So अब लिखो इसमें मेंशन करो Marathas were highly industrious people. Marathas were highly industrious. मतलब हार्ड वर्किंग, यस हाँ. तो industrious people, and they started working towards restoration of Maratha fortunes. Restoration of Maratha fortunes. Then it was all possible due to the able guidance. It was all possible due to the able guidance of Peshwa Madhav Rao, Nana Fadnis, and Mahatma Sindhya. Nana Fadnis and Mahatma Sindhya. Mahatma Sindhya. Done. Then mention after it Nana Fadnis and Mahaji Sindhya. At this time, the system of 12 administrator at this time, the system of 12 administrator popularly called Bara Bhai, popularly called Bara Bhai also started. Bara Bhai also started. Done. Then mention majority of the decisions were taken in consultation with majority of the decisions were taken in consultation with the 12 administrators. The 12 administrators. Done. Once again change paragraph and then mention 12 administrators, full stop. After the death of Madhav Rao, after the death of Madhav Rao, Narayan Rao became the next Peshwa. Narayan Rao became the next Peshwa. Sorry. So you can mention his timeline in this only 1772 to 73. Narayan Rao became next Peshwa, but unfortunately, he was assassinated by his uncle Raghunath Rao. His uncle Raghunath Rao. Then mention it was first time in the Maratha history. It was first time in the Maratha history that Maratha Peshwa was killed by his own blood. Maratha Peshwa was killed by his own blood. His own blood. Done. हो गया? Then so mention Raghunath Rao remained as Peshwa till 1774. Raghunath Rao remained as Peshwa till 1774. 1774 and he was removed from power by 12 administrators. He was removed from power by 12 administrators, which led to appointment of minor son of Narayan Rao, which led to appointment of minor son of Narayan Rao, that is Savai Madhav Rao. That is Savai Madhav Rao as the next Peshwa. Savai Madhav Rao as the next Peshwa under the regency of Nana Fadnis. Under the regency of Nana Fadnis. अब यहाँ पे बहुत सारे नाम हैं. There are n number of the names, which sometimes becomes confusing that what to remember, what not to. So basically you remember the incident, not the names over here. Important name अपने आप recall हो जाएंगे when the question would be there. So you just remember the events which are happening and how it is unfolding. So now understand, from abhi tak, till this point of time we have not mentioned British. Now we are going to mention British from here onwards. So how the entry of the British has happened in the Maratha politics. It was all given. So entire entry was possible because of the Raghunath Rao himself. So when he was deposed from power, he fled to Bombay Presidency in Surat. Then, and there he signed a secret Surat treaty with British East India Company. So British East India Company, and what he promised to British, that if the British will support Raghunath Rao in getting the power at Pune, that is the position of the Peshwa, so then he will give them the area of the Salseet, Baseen and Bharuch. Okay? So Salseet, Baseen and Bharuch, and that's how British accepted it. Okay? So now to fight with the Marathas, they need some reason. सिर्फ इस सीक्रेट ट्रीटी के बेस पे दे कैन नॉट फाइट. सो दे वांट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ प्रेसिपिटेटिंग फैक्टर और some reasons to fight with the Maratha. And the reason was, once again, it is all related to the American War of Independence. You remember in 1770s we mentioned that even Hyder Ali gave refuge to the French forces. So at this point of time, in one of the western port, Nana Ferdinand granted French permission to reside. Okay? Create their settlement also. So now British got opportunity to fight against the French. So they attacked on the, not only on the French settlement on the western coast, but also Pune. And this is what led to the beginning of the first Anglo-Maratha war. So in this first Anglo-Maratha war, Nana Ferdinand did not wanted any confrontation with the British. So he persuaded them that rather than fighting, let's resolve it. So for temporary time in 1776, there was a battle of Purandhar. And so Treaty of Purandhar, not battle. So Treaty of Purandhar happened, but it was short-lived. British did not accepted it, and once again they started fighting. So once again when they started fighting, so at this point of time, it is Mahatji Scindia who consecutively defeated British at two places, Battle of Vadgaon and Talegaon. Talegaon is closer to Pune. Okay? So he defeated British. British were thoroughly defeated by 1779. Now what happened when they were defeated? So this is the time when the Bombay unit of the company, it requested to the Governor General Warren Hastings, and it is in 1780 Warren Hastings entered into the war and he defeated Mahatji Scindia. And so when he defeated Mahatji Scindia, so now it was proven that this war is going in an inconclusive direction and nobody is getting much. Okay? So some place British are victorious, some place are Marathas are victorious. So finally this war ended with Treaty of Salbai in 1782, and we'll see that what was there in the Treaty of Salbai. So mention, you write, frustrated Raghunath Rao fled to Surat. Frustrated Raghunath Rao fled to Surat, where he signed a secret Surat treaty with, fled to Surat, where he signed a secret treaty of Surat with British East India Company. With British East India Company. As per this treaty, Raghunath Rao promised area of Salseet, Baseen and Bharuch. Salseet, Baseen and Bharuch to British. Comma, in return of position of Peshwa. In return of position of Peshwa. In return of position of Peshwa. Full stop. Now write the title. First Anglo-Maratha War. First Anglo-Maratha War. 1775 to 82. Mention. When Nana Fadnis granted a to French port to French on the western coast, comma, British replied by sending their forces to Pune. British replied by sending their forces to Pune. Full stop. Initially, Nana Fadnis wanted to avoid war. Initially, Nana Fadnis wanted to avoid war and persuaded British for Treaty of Purandhar. 1776. Full stop. It was a short-lived treaty. Which was not accepted by the Bombay unit of company. Done. Then mention Bombay unit of the company. In this situation, Maratha forces were led by Mahaji Sindhya. Who consecutively defeated British in Battle of Talegaon and Battle of Vadgaon. Then full stop. Mention. In 1780, Bombay unit of the company requested to Governor General of Bengal Warren Hastings to guide British full stop. As such, Warren Hastings entered into war and defeated Mahaji Sindhya. Defeated Mahaji Sindhya near Yamuna River. Near Yamuna River. Then mention by 1782. By 1782, this war proved to be inconclusive. This war proved to be inconclusive and ended with Treaty of Salbai. Ended with Treaty of Salbai. So let's listen Treaty of Salbai. Take care. Write it and then we'll give you a break. So what was there in the Treaty of Salbai? First of all, that Bassein was restored to Maratha, Salsette and Bharuch to British. So this is what it is the division. That Salsette and Bharuch will be with British and Bassein would be with the Marathas. So I hope you remember that we already with a map we got to know that what area was Salsette and what was Bassein. Any idea? Both are Mumbai only, but Mumbai mein the Thane and the upper Thane part is the Salsette and the main suburb of the Mumbai is basically the Bassein. Okay? So these are there, and Bharuch is also very closer to basically if you start from Surat to Vadodara, तो इस बीच में there are two very important industrial towns in Gujarat and coastal towns ही हैं. They are Bharuch and Ankleshwar. ठीक है? So Bharuch and Ankleshwar. So that time Bharuch and Ankleshwar area was combined. So this is going to the side of the British. That is number one. Then moreover, Marathas at this point of time that they had to promise to the British that in future if British are fighting any war with the Tipu Sultan or Hyder Ali, or basically it is at this point of time the war was already going on with the Mysore. So Marathas they gave the promise that they will support British in any war against Mysore. So that is one thing. Then Mahaji Sindhya. So claim of Mahaji Sindhya closer to the river Narmada was recognized by the British. And what is closer to river Narmada? Gwalior area entire. So the sovereign authority of the Mahaji Sindhya was recognized in the Gwalior area. And then one more thing, that Marathas requested that British must pension off their protege Raghunath Rao. So the protection which was given to him, now it must not be given, and British agreed for it that they will not be giving any protection to Raghunath Rao. So mention, you write, as per the treaty, Salsette and Bassein, as per the treaty, Salsette and Bassein, नहीं बसीन नहीं लिखना, Salsette and Bharuch लिखना. Salsette and Bharuch was restored to British East India Company. Was restored to British East India Company, and Bassein to Maratha. Bassein to Maratha. Then number 2 you write, Marathas assured company that in war against Mysore, they will support. In war against Mysore, they will support British. They will support British. Number 3, British recognized sovereign claim of Mahaji Sindhya around Gwalior so as northwest of river Yamuna. Then mention, British agreed to pension off. British agreed to pension off their protege, Raghunath Rao. Pension of their protege Raghunath Rao. So now listen. This Treaty of Salbai, see, and this war, very first war. In the very first war, both the sides have tested each other's strength. And that's why Treaty of Salbai was considered as a treaty of the relative peace between the two powers, that is the Maratha and the British East India Company. And this relative peace existed for next 20 years. So 1782 to 1802, there was no war between the British and Maratha. But then Maratha's polity after it is going to disintegrate, but British are actually consolidating their forces to fight with the Marathas once again. So एक last line लिखो, then we'll give you a break. Mention. In the very first war, both the sides, tested, each other's strength. Both the sides tested each other's strength, and Treaty of Salbai resulted into 20 years of relative peace. 20 years of relative peace between the two powers. Full stop. On one hand, in this next 20 years, Maratha politics was going to disintegrate. On the other hand, British gained power to dominate. Marathas. Then, so last leg है, दो और war बचे and they are continuous. So we'll complete this part and we'll go into the Punjab immediately after it. So break के बाद we'll start. And subsidiary alliance is also remaining. So after the break, we'll start with the subsidiary alliance part itself. Sorry. So now listen. So after this point of time, see, Maratha administration is under Peshwa Savai Madhav Rao. And Savai Madhav Rao, when he was appointed as the Peshwa, he must have been 4 or 5 years old. And by 1795, consider in 1774 if he was 5 years old. So by 1795, his age is almost around 25 years, 29 or 24, 25 years. So now he must not be under the regency of the Nana Fadnis. But then Nana Fadnis adopted a very high-handed attitude towards the Peshwa. So Peshwa thought of himself that he has just become a decorative piece in the Maratha politics, whereby that he is the Peshwa, but all the decisions are taken by Nana Fadnis. And whenever the Peshwa was trying to take any decision or say something, so Nana Fadnis adopted that high-handed attitude or approach, whereby he often scolded Peshwa. So often scolded Peshwa that you don't understand administration, it is not in the ambit of yours to take this decision. Finally, that depressed by these all, for the first time in the Maratha history, a Peshwa committed suicide. So in 1795, Savai Madhav Rao committed suicide, and the reason was Nana Fadnis' high-handed attitude. It happens very often in general life also, that when very high-handed attitude is adopted towards the people, so they don't perform well, but they go into the drain. So anyways, his death happened, and then after, the new Peshwa was to be appointed. So the new Peshwa was basically son of the Raghunath Rao, and his name Bajirao II. So Bajirao II was appointed as the next Peshwa. So basically, it is indicative that Maratha politics is not discriminatory, at least in this sense, that if Raghunath Rao has committed the mistake, so then the punishment would not given to his son. But then the problem was that it was the exact situation. Raghunath Rao's son Bajirao II was exactly like Raghunath Rao. There is the problem. So initially Raghunath Rao's son Bajirao II was also under the control of the Nana Fadnis. But by 1800, death of Nana Fadnis happened, and just after the death of the Nana Fadnis, Maratha Sardars, basically the Sindhyas and Holkars, they got divided on the question of support to the Peshwa. So on one hand, Sindhyas decided that they will continue with support to the Peshwa, but Holkars did not wanted to support him. And this is how, when this got, when Bajirao II got to know this all, he performed a cold-blooded murder of the Vithoji Rao Holkar of the Indore. And this is what is leading to the fight between the Holkars and the Peshwa. And after that, British will be invited into the Maratha politics. So mention little bit, change paragraph, and then you write, due to high-handed attitude of Nana Fadnis, due to high-handed attitude of Nana Fadnis, Peshwa Savai Madhav Rao, Peshwa Savai Madhav Rao committed suicide in 1795. 1795. Full stop. After his death, son of Raghunath Rao, after his death, son of Raghunath Rao, Bajirao II, was appointed next Peshwa under the regency of Nana Fadnis. Under the regency of Nana Fadnis. Achha, one more thing. Maharji Sindhya's natural death has happened by 1794 itself. So he was not there. Then, ab yahan pe at this point, if we talk about the Sindhya, so don't confuse it with the Maharji Sindhya. They would be the sons of Maharji Sindhya, and they are not like the Maharji Sindhya. So, aage likho. So, under the regency of Nana Fadnis. Then you write, Bajirao wanted to get rid of control of Nana Fadnis. Control of Nana Fadnis. Then mention after it, control of Nana Fadnis, full stop. In 1800, natural death of Nana Fadnis happened. In 1800, natural death of Nana Fadnis happened. Natural death of Nana Fadnis happened. After which, Maratha Sardars were divided on the question of support. Maratha Sardars were divided on the question of support to Peshwa. Mention. On one hand, Scindias supported Peshwa on one hand. Scindias supported Peshwa on the other. Holkars refused to support. Holkars refused to support. Full stop. At this time, Peshwa performed. At this time, Peshwa performed cold-blooded murder. Cold-blooded murder of Vithoji Rao Holkar. Cold-blooded murder of Vithoji Rao Holkar. Done. In this situation, full stop के बाद लिखो. In this situation, younger brother. In this situation, younger brother Yaswant Rao Holkar. Younger brother Yaswant Rao Holkar decided to take the revenge. Decided to take the revenge. Listen. So when Yashwant Rao Holkar, he attacked on Pune, so it was a ferocious attack, and then moreover, Scindias were not able to safeguard Peshwa. So terrified Peshwa at this point of time, he repeated the same thing which was done by his father, the same mistake. And what he did? He fled to Bombay. So he fled to Bombay, and in Bombay, he signed a Treaty of Bassein or subsidiary alliance with the British. Then, so subsidiary alliance with the British, and this is a defining moment in the Maratha history and defining moment of the decline. Okay? So, what are the provisions of the subsidiary alliance? We will do it over here, and then we'll talk about the second battle which happened after it. So, subsidiary alliance system was created by the Wellesley in 1798, and it is one of the instrument for the expansion of the British rule in India and the further consolidation, or we can say establishment of the British paramountcy. What is paramountcy? British power is paramount and supreme in India, and the other powers in India are subordinate to the British. So, let's look at the provision. अब ध्यान से सुनना एक एक करके and understand also. Very first one, the native power, and here in this case Maratha is the native power. So the native power entering into subsidiary alliance system will have to accept British force in their territory. So meaning that British forces will be living in the territory of the Pune. Okay? So will have to accept British force in their territory, and they will have to pay the maintenance cost of the army. So army भी रखना पड़ेगा और maintenance cost भी देना पड़ेगा. These are the two things. Then so they will have to make the payment also. Now the second point. Understand. So question rises that what if some year you are not able to make the payment. So if the native power or the Maratha are not able to make the payment to the army, so then what will happen? So suppose that 5 lakh rupees payment was to be made to the army, and Marathas were not able to do that. So then in this situation, the territory of the Maratha will be chipped off. Then meaning that worth 5 lakh payment, certain part of the Maratha territory will be taken away by the British. Chipped off meaning that taken away by the British. So that is what is the second condition. Then let's come to the third one. So third is that native power entering into alliance or entering into subsidiary alliance will not declare war against any other power, and they will also not create any kind of alliance with any other power without the permission of the British. So meaning that if you want to make friends, you will have to take the permission. If you want to fight against somebody, you will have to take the permission. So nothing you can do without the permission. Then apart from it, A British resident would be posted in the native court. So British resident would be posted in the native court who will look after the terms and conditions of the treaty to be followed in the spirit. But actually this British resident who was posted, rather than looking at the terms and condition, what he was doing, he was interfering in the local politics. So this is another thing. Then another very important provision of it, that the native power which is entering into alliance cannot employ any other European other than British. So as far as any European country is concerned, they can employ only British in their office, but not French, not Dutch, not any other nationality of the Europe. So now just look at it. We will see add another one, but if we are looking at it, so is it not like that the sovereign authority of the Marathas have been sold to the British? That सारा decision making power अगर जो British के पास चला गया, तो where is the sovereign authority? So it is like the selling your own freedom to the British, then, and just for the namesake you are the ruler. So the last provision of the subsidiary alliance, last is basically, so in return of these all, British promised to the native power that they will safeguard their territory from any external or internal danger. Then, so they will safeguard the Maratha territory from any external or internal danger. But the reality is that seldom they performed this task. They never actually, only few instances are there, but otherwise they never protected the native territory, and this was just a misnomer in the name of the alliance. So mention, you're right. So Yashwantrao Holkar decided to take the revenge. That is the last line you have written. Mention. He attacked on Pune. He attacked on Pune. After which the terrified Peshwa fled to Bombay. After which the terrified Peshwa fled to Bombay and signed Treaty of Bassein or subsidiary alliance. Treaty of Bassein or subsidiary alliance with British. Subsidiary alliance with British. And so एक title लिख लो, subsidiary alliance system. Subsidiary alliance system. So mention. It was formulated by Governor General of Bengal Wellesley, to expand British territory in India and to establish British paramountcy. चाहो तो ब्रैकेट्स में लिख लो. In brackets you write, British would be supreme power in India. British would be supreme power in India. And Indian powers would be subordinate. To British. Brackets closed. Then provisions you write, number 1. So provision, mention. The native power entering into alliance the native power entering into alliance will have to accept native power entering into alliance will have to accept British forces will have to accept British forces in their territory British forces in their territory, and they will also have to pay the maintenance cost they will also have to pay the maintenance cost of British Army. Maintenance cost of British Army. Then next you write number 2. If they fail to make the payment, if they fail to make the payment on time, if they fail to make the payment on time, in this situation, some part of their territory, some part of their territory will be chipped off, as equivalent to payment. Will be chipped off as equivalent to payment. Done? Next point, you write. Native power cannot enter in alliance with anybody without the permission of British. Next point. They cannot declare war against any other power. They cannot declare war against any other power without the permission of British. Then next point. They cannot employ any European other than British in their court. Next point. After it, a British resident will be posted in native court who will look after terms and conditions of alliance. But in brackets you write, brackets में लिखो, but the British resident often interfered in the native politics. सी इसको अच्छे से क्रैम कर लेना, बिकॉज लास्टली I think in 2021 it was asked in the mains examination of the forest services. ठीक है. So generally trend यही होता है कि there are 1 or 2 questions which are asked in the forest mains paper. It is to be repeated in the this civils main paper. ठीक है. So इसके बाद one more you write after it. Brackets close and next last point. In return. Next point. It is the last point. So in return, British promised that they will protect and safeguard native territory. They will protect and safeguard native territory from any external or internal danger. From any external or internal danger. Internal danger. And brackets में लिखो the promise which was seldom observed. The promise which was seldom observed. What does it mean? कभी नहीं. ठीक है. Seldom का मतलब ही होता है कभी नहीं. Just in the namesake. So this is what is about the subsidiary alliance system. Now it's very clear from the subsidiary alliance that the native power is actually giving all its sovereign authority to the British and they are taking the decision. So now after this alliance has happened, the war time. Okay? So since Peshwa has done this alliance, not the other allied powers of the Maratha. So who are the allied powers? Holkars, Scindias, okay, Bhosles and Gaikwads. None of them accepted it. Okay? So none of them accepted this subsidiary alliance. In fact, Scindias went on to say that they will rather like to fight than accepting it. So only Peshwa has accepted it, rest of the houses did not accepted it. And so earlier Scindias have supported Peshwa, but now they are no more with him and all of them will fight against the British. So on one hand the fight is organized by the Holkars, on the other hand Scindias are also going to fight in a very brave way. So the sons of Mahaji Scindia, at least they were not like the sons of Raghunath Rao. Then they were fighter. So there were two very important battles which were fought in the Second Anglo-Maratha War, and these battles are called as Battle of Asai and Laswari. So these are the two places where the battle has happened. So Battle of Asai and Laswari. And moreover, though finally the British were victorious in these two battles, but it is just like a situation ki Lok Sabha chunav hai, and then the person who is victorious, he has won the election by just one vote. You are getting it? So such was the situation that though British were victorious, but then Scindias have given a very neck-to-neck fight to them. And it is said that if Peshwa would not have gone in that direction, so British would have lost beyond redemption. It is only because of the Peshwa that Scindias were not victorious. So they were defeated. But इसके बाद एक और चीज होता है, ठीक है? What is this? Later on we'll be figuring out when we are going to talk about the acts also. So this is the time when the rise of Napoleon has happened in France. And in Britain, you can say that Europe. 1789 was the French Revolution. And after that, rise of Napoleon. And Napoleon was one of the arch rival of the Britain. So it was important for the British to contest Napoleon rather than fighting in India. So at this point of time, Wellesley was highly criticized in Britain. He was criticized in the Britain when the need of the hour is to fight Napoleon. He is spending all the resources in fight with the Marathas because they also lost their resources. जब war होती है, even in today's time, if we talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, Russia has upper hand in this war. But does it mean that कि Russia का कोई खर्चा ही नहीं हो रहा है? They are not spending anything. ठीक है? They are also losing their resources in the form of the men and the money. both of the things. Then so here also, when there was a requirement of the money over there in the Britain, Wellesley is spending over here, and Wellesley was recalled from India in 1805. Though they are victorious against the Maratha, but he was recalled, and in fact Wellesley, after it, he was completely neglected in the British politics. So that is the reason that Wellesley was able to defeat the Scindias, but not the Holkars. So Holkars, in fact, up to a great extent, they harassed Wellesley. Then harassed Wellesley. So at the end of this war, it is only Scindias who were forced to accept subsidiary alliance, but not the Holkars. So Holkars are still very much independent by the end of the Second War. So mention, you write, just write a title, Second Anglo-Maratha War. (1803 to 05). Mention, right? Scindias, Holkars, Bhosle and Gaekwad. Scindias, Holkars, Bhosles and Gaekwads did not accepted subsidiary alliance. Did not accepted subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. And they turned against Peshwa. And they turned against Peshwa. They decided to fight against British. They decided to fight against British. Full stop. Then mention, a very brave fight was put up by Scindias against British. Scindias against British. But unfortunately, they were consecutively defeated at Battle of Asai. You can see the spelling, and Battle of Laswari. Battle of Asai and Battle of Laswari. Then mention, they were forced by British to accept subsidiary alliance system. Then mention, on the other hand, Holkars were able to harass British forces. They were able to harass British forces at many places. On the other hand, Holkars were able to harass British forces at many places. Then, in 1805, Wellesley was recalled to Britain. Wellesley was recalled to Britain, and he was blamed of unnecessary spending and fight in India. Unnecessary spending and fight in India when there is Rise of Napoleon in Europe. When there is rise of Napoleon in Europe. Done? So that's what is about the 1805 Takka situation. Now after 1805 to 1817, the next 12 years. So Peshwa Bajirao II, now he is reappointed on the throne of the Peshwa at Pune. But then he also realized his mistake in this duration, that he has committed a grave mistake of his life and he must not have followed in the footsteps of his father. So there was no freedom, there is no sovereignty, all the decision is to be taken in connivance with the British. So he felt that Maratha pride has been hit and they have been humiliated. So in 1817, he made a last bid. He was repentant. So he made a last bid to regain the independence from the British, and he tried to convince all the Maratha Sardars for this. But then Scindias did not paid any heed to him, so as the Gaikwads. It's only the Holkars and supported by the Bhosles, and so as the Peshwa side. So Holkars, who were the dire enemy of the Peshwa, now to safeguard the Maratha territory, they came forward. So it is leading to the last Anglo-Maratha war, which is in 1817 to 1819. But then, ab isi time pe we need to talk about the Pindaris also. So the Pindaris also came to support Marathas at this time, and then this battle not only led to the thorough defeat of the Marathas, but it also solved the problem of the Pindaris for the British. So now, question is, who are Pindaris? देखो सुना तो होगा सबने, ठीक है, कहीं ना कहीं पे मूवीज में काफी ये वर्ड यूज होता है, ठीक है. सो यस, सो हु आर पिंडारीज? एनी आइडिया? दे आर, हाँ, फोर्स इफिएटेड. अच्छा, ठीक है, आई गॉट इट व्हाट यू ट्राइड टू से. देन यू आर सेइंग not exactly Marathas. देखो, they are the people. See, I would say one word which I will use. They were mercenaries, but not the formal, informal mercenaries. Mercenaries, समझते हो? Force. They are force only. They are the fighters only, but they are not formal. They are informal. So basically, Pindaris included large chunk of the population from each and every section of society. It included Hindus also, Muslims also, and the other religious people also. But then their loyalty was only money. Okay? So their loyalty was only money, not the people. So basically Pindaris, what they were doing, that suppose two sides are fighting and this side is offering more money to them, so they will fight with your side. Okay? And they will not be in the beginning. When the war has moved ahead, so all of a sudden they will enter into the war and they will create a chaos. Okay? So they will create a chaos, and they were also, I am using a word, war foragers. So they are also called as war foragers. What is forager? They were entitled to loot the defeated army. Okay? So they were the one who were looting all the money of the defeated army. So now, last day, थोड़ी मेरी इससे mistake हो गई नाम में. When I was telling you Sringeri Sharda Peetham, it is the Pindaris who looted the Sringeri Sharda Peetham. Then, so after this 1791 war with Mysore, so Pindaris were once again, they were there with the Marathas because Marathas have given them more payment. Then, so what they did, that after the war was over, they looted the Sringeri Sharda Peetham and they took one of the statue. So this is the time when Tipu Sultan realized that in the future war, because there are many people against Tipu Sultan, so I need the support of the local population, and then he restored the temple. He gave the donation and restored the statue of the temple. But later on, Marathas also repented this thing, and Savai Madhav Rao was the Peshwa, Nana Fadnis was the person. So he sent back that all money and everything back to that particular place. So anyways, so here Pindaris were on the side of the Maratha, and when finally when the Marathas were defeated in this battle, so as the Pindaris were completely crushed by the British authority. So after 1819, we don't see Pindaris in the Indian scenario. Before that, they were often creating chaos in the war scenario. So 1819, the defeat has happened, after which the Peshwa's dominion was annexed into the British Indian territory. House of Peshwa was abolished and his entire territory was taken over by the British. And this is how So British have controlled by this point of time near about, we can say, 70% area of India, because Maratha area was very, that climax, it was covering hell lot of area starting entire Maharashtra, including the parts of the Madhya Pradesh, so as Chhattisgarh, parts of Odisha, entire Sindh, okay, Sindh in Pakistan, Gujarat, and so as the Malwa area, which is tri-junction of the Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. So this much has gone into the lap of the, or basically under the subordination of the British. So mention, you right. Second war already we have mentioned. Now अब directly आ जाओ third Anglo-Maratha war. Third Anglo-Maratha war. And this is 1817 to 19. So mention, by 1817, Peshwa Bajirao II was repentant. Peshwa Bajirao II was repentant that British have captured Maratha sovereignty and Marathas have lost their pride. And Marathas have lost their pride. Then, full stop. He made a last bid. He made a last bid. Last bid. To gain Maratha pride and independence. To gain Maratha pride and independence. He tried to rally all the important Maratha Sardars with him. He tried to rally all the important Maratha Sardars with him. Maratha Sardars with him. But it is only Holkars who came forward. But it is only Holkars who came forward. Who came forward. Then, right? Like the previous time, once again, Maratha secured the support of Pindaris. Like the previous time, once again, Marathas secured the support of Pindaris. And you can write in brackets, informal mercenaries whose loyalty was money. Whose loyalty was money. Loyalty was money. Done. Then you write, in this last battle, Marathas were thoroughly defeated. In this last battle, Marathas were thoroughly defeated, so as the Pindaris. Full stop. British abolished House of Peshwa. And annexed Peshwa's dominion. British abolished House of Peshwa and annexed Peshwa's dominion, annexed Peshwa's dominion into company's territory. Peshwa's dominion into company's territory. Into company's territory. So this is what is about the Maratha episode which has ended in 1819. अब एक last important episode is that is the Punjab. So day after tomorrow I think we have class. कल तो नहीं है. So tomorrow is the open session of the Art and Culture 5-year paper, mains paper. Have you got the notice of it? So 5-year paper starting from 2019 till 2023. Then so we'll be discussing tomorrow 5 शाम की class है 5 p.m. Since but art and culture start nahi hua hai, but still you can see that particular session. It will be helpful whenever art and culture will start. So we'll let you know that how you can use that information. ठीक है? चलो. So day after tomorrow we'll complete the Punjab. Punjab is not a big episode. पहले घंटे में हम लोग कंप्लीट कर लेंगे. Then we'll start with the administration of the British East India Company. ठीक है? चलो. Thank you.